Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive. It is time for another edition of Budget Magic, and this week we are heading to Modern to play some Bloody Burn. What does that actually mean? Well, let's talk about the deck, jump into some games, and find out. Alright, so here is our Bloody Burn deck for Modern, and quick shout out to Ezra B, who sent me a viewer submitted deck that inspired me to build this deck for Budget Magic. But anyway, let's talk about what this deck's trying to do. So we start off looking like a pretty normal Modern Burn deck, a bunch of cards that for 1 mana deal 3 damage, Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, Riftbolt, Skewer the Critics, Bump in the Night, kind of the heart of Burn style decks. You don't see Bump in the Night that much, but that's not because it's bad, it's just because Burn decks aren't typically in black in Modern. So this is kind of the boring normal Burn stuff, but then we go in a really strange direction into Blood Token land with Voldaren Epicure, Sanguine Statuette, and Vampire's Kiss. So these are all cards that they do things that are fine in a Burn deck. Voldaren Epicure deals a damage and makes a Blood Token. Sanguine Statuette can turn into a hasty 3/3 to smash in for a Lightning Bolt amount of damage if we can get through our opponent's blockers. Vampire's Kiss is 2 mana drains for 2, so it is a burn spell, not a super efficient one. But the more important thing is these cards all add Blood Tokens to the battlefield, and these Blood Tokens do 2 things in our deck. First, they allow our budget deck to do something that budget burn decks normally don't get to do, which is filter through our deck. One of the things that makes tier burn decks powerful is they get to play all these horizon lands, the lands that you can sacrifice to draw a card, because one of the ways that burn loses is just drawing too many lands. You flood out, you don't draw enough burn spells. That makes it very difficult to win because you need a critical mass of burn spells to deal 20 points at your opponent's face. Normally, you can't play those cards in a budget burn deck because they're just way too expensive. Well, the Blood Tokens do something similar. We play these cards, they make Blood Tokens. In the late game, if we start flooding out, we can sack the Blood Tokens to discard extra lands, find the last couple of burn spells we need to close out the game, but they do something way more important than that as well. They turn on some of the most busted, most powerful burn spells in all of Modern that most burn decks don't get to play because they require artifacts. Galvanic Blast, if we have 3 artifacts, like our Blood Tokens on the battlefield, is 4 damage for 1 mana, way above the curve, better than Lightning Bolt, the best burn spell of all time. Shrapnel Blast, for 2 mana, it's 5 damage, as long as we can sack an artifact, and those Blood Tokens are perfect for sacrificing. Unlicensed Disintegration is like a super Searing Blaze. It blows up any creature. If we have a artifact, it deals 3 damage to the creature's controller. So these are all cards that your typical Modern burn deck would love to play. Like Boros Burn would love to have access to cards that are dealing 4 for 1, dealing 5 for 2, but you just can't because you don't have access to artifacts. Well, our deck gets to play these cards thanks to all of our Blood Token generators. Otherwise, in our mana base, pretty typical budget stuff. Draw Sword Bridge, another artifact, as many untapped dual lands as we can fit in. As far as the sideboard, we do have Lurrus as our companion. It's not super great in our deck. We can get back like Voldaren Epicure, but still, it's pretty free rolly. Outside of Lurrus, we get a bunch of cards that do something and deal damage. Searing Blaze, Unlicensed Disintegration, kill creatures and hit you for 3. Smash to Smithereens, kill an artifact, hit you for 3. Roiling Vortex, good against life gain, also good against the Cascade decks. Pyrite Spellbomb, mostly to deal with creatures that have protection from red that otherwise would be tough to deal with. Plus, it works really well with Lurrus because we can loop it from the graveyard, and that is Bloody Burn, Blood Token Burn for Modern. That's our Budget Magic deck for this week, so let's jump into some games and see if this plan can work. Is playing these strange Blood Token cards the right way forward for Budget Burn in Modern? We're gonna find out. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit with the wrap up. Do you need some new Innistrad Crimson Vow cards? Well, you can get them all from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, by heading over to cardkingdom.com/MTGGoldfish and even get a free MTG Goldfish sticker. Just let them know you want one in your order notes and they will hook you up. Budget Magic time. We are playing some Blood Token Burn in Modern. And all right, 2 tap lands is a bit obnoxious, but we'll keep this. Vampire's Kiss is pretty nice. The 2 Blood Tokens is kind of key. That gets us almost to Galvanic Blast. We'd still love to draw untapped mana. We're up against Yarion, which hopefully is fine. Good old double Dragon Skull Summit draw. Flooded Strand for our Aboot. It passes. All right, tap land, go. Ooh, okay. Boy, if our lands were untapped, this hand would have been super sweet about it. Triume, Flooded Strand, and we will bolt your face. Untap. I'll play a Vampire Kiss. I mean, getting these blood tokens is big because, okay, this turns on our 2 Galvanic Blasts. So we have 8, 9, 10, 11 points of damage, which means our opponent, like, playing a shotgun tap could just leave them dead next turn. Opponent, Triome. All right, what do you got? What do you got, friend? It's looking good at the moment about it. Expressive Iteration. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Gets a Wooded Foothills, plays it untapped. Opponent passing. Discards a mountain. Play a Lava Spike. Hitch it a 10. Statuette. Makes a blood tokens. I mean, I think we should be in good shape here. We'll see. Force a negation, pitches to fairy, sure. I mean, we're still holding lethal burn if we can resolve it. About it, da-da-die. I mean, so far the plan's kind of working. Turning on these Galvanic Blasts is huge. All right. How many counters you got about it? How many do you got? The nice thing too is this is all instant speed bird, so we don't even have to cast it immediately. We do need to race an Omnath. All right, there's an Omnath. Well, we should be good. Opponent already played their land, so they can't play another land, and now we just resolve Galvanic Blast and win. So Galvanic Blast your face. Skewer the Critics your face. Kill ya? Blood tokens? Well, I mean, it does feel good to beat a deck that is playing single cards that cost more than our entire deck. Like, our opponent's playing a almost like $2,000 deck, and our blood tokens in Modern are getting the job done. Omnath. I mean, I think our best plan is kind of what we just did there. Just burn them out before they can get going. Do we want to try to like fight Omnath with Roiling Vortex is a question. So they're probably mostly Planeswalkers. They might have Chalice of the Void, which is annoying. They shouldn't have a ton of life gain outside of Omnath. At the same time, Omnath living is really bad for us. We might actually maybe we just like straight up run it back. I mean, I could see the vortexes being okay. I guess we could bring in more disintegrations. The problem is, if they're playing one of the control builds, they probably pretty much just have some Omnaths and maybe like some Solitudes as their only real removal. So we do need to have targets. I mean, maybe we're better off. Maybe we go down the disintegrations. You know what? Let's try the vortexes. Maybe all of them? What do we cut though? We need our artifact stuff. We can't cut lands. All right, you know what? All right, 3 vortexes, go down 1 Rift Bolt, because Rift Bolt is pretty soft to fairy. Suspending it gets got. We'll see. I think that's fine. We could try 4 vortexes and go down 2 Rift Bolts, but this is reasonable. All right, reveal Lurrus, which Lurrus does not do a ton in our deck. Well, okay. We got some burn. We got some blood tokens. Opponent, Forest, and Abundant Growth. Well, there's a Vortex. Well, Pathway on red. Lava Spike your face. Go. Opponent. Well, I kept a 1-lander. Oh my god, passes. Pathway on red. Statuette. Are you going to force it? No. This is kind of cute because we can Shrapnel Blast the blood token, which technically sacks it, and that turns on the Statuette. Oh, and a post comes up. Well, so I guess that was a little bit of a freebie in game 2, but we got him in game 1, and the plan seems to be working. Unsure. Our opponent must have kept an Expressive Iteration hand where they're like, okay, we get a redraw, we hit 1 land, we Expressive Iteration, we got all this action. Actually, that's a kind of hand I keep and then get yelled at in the comments when we inevitably lose our 5-0 to not drawing line number 2. So I can empathize with our opponent here, but yeah, all right, blood tokens. Sweet. On to the next. Budget Magic time. We are playing some blood token burn in Modern. Well, it's more tap lands than we really want, but this is fine. Windswept Teeth and passes. Well, draws Forge Bridge, go. Well, the good news is we're going to have 3 artifacts. We're going to have 3 artifacts once this Epicure comes down, which is the magic number for us for our opponent. Plains, Stoneforge Mystic. Bad news is we're probably going to have to kill this Stoneforge Mystic. Bataskull. Yeah, so we are going to kill the Stoneforge. Draws Forge Bridge, go. Well, we're doing it the slow-ish way. This unlicensed disintegration should be nice, though. Verdant Catacombs, opponent cracks it. Overgrown Tomb, untap down to 16. Grist, sure. Grist is fine. Well, Dragon Skull Summit tapped. Let's play Epicure. Ping ya. Get artifact number 3, which turns on this second Galvanic Blast. Now we gotta count. We might actually be pretty close to lethal damage. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so we actually have lethal damage, assuming we get to resolve all of our cards. Scrib Ranger for our opponents. Opponent's playing like Modern Maverick, essentially. About it. Gets and hits us, sure. and picks up a land to untap, replays the land, outland Liberator, and an insect. Oh boy, that's a lot of damage. Do we care about this Liberator? Probably. So if we hit for 3, the problem is it turns off some of our stuff. That's the concern. I mean, I guess the other option is we can just hit our opponent for 11 and pass. That's actually probably the smartest play. So let's Galvanic Blast your face. Galvanic Blast your face. Skewer the Critics your face. Pass the turn, and this leaves our opponent dead to Shrapnel Blast. So opponent, they need something that gains them life right now, basically. Batterskull's gonna be too slow. Well, let's see what they could have. Nothing on the board beats us. Doing it this way, like, it would be better to cast these on the turn that we're winning if we could, but doing it this way means we don't get caught in a position where our opponent can sack Liberator to blow up the blood token and turn off Metalcraft and make these into shocks. Oh, that is fine. So we're gonna get smacked for a bunch. Might as well chump. And now we just untap in Shrapnel Blast for the win. Insect, sure. Well, yeah, that should do it. The blood token plan paying off. Shrapnel Blast your face. Oh, got him. All right. That went really well. Now we get to bring in 2 more unlicensed disintegrations. Oh, I don't really want to fight the artifacts. Maybe 2 Searing Blazes? Do we need to try to fight life gain? Smash is sketchy. Like, getting a Batterskull is legitimately great, but our opponent doesn't seem to have that many artifacts. Let's bring in the Disintegrations and the Searing Blazes and go down 2 Rift Bolts, 2 Bump in the Nights. No life gain hate, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. If our opponent brings in a bunch of life gain, then we can bring in Vortexes for game 3 if we need to. All right, reveal the lures, but game 1 went really well. Yeah, all right, we'll keep. Gonna need a bit more burn, but that's fine. Burn Catacombs for our opponent, and passes. Well, let's just tap land, pass the turn. Rather than getting down Epic here, I think we need to focus on making sure this is turned on by turn 3. Opponent grabs a Triome. If our opponent plays Stoneforge, we do have to kill it, unfortunately. Outland Liberator, sure. Play Epicure, get a blood token, ping ya. Draws Forge Bridge, go. Unlicensed Disintegration is like actually really good in this deck. I think it's actually one of the reasons to play it. Opponent's gonna Thoughtseize, sure. So we're gonna lose some damage, but our opponent does take 2, which is helpful. Not a total loss. I'm guessing they have to take Disintegration, but we'll see. So opponent's gonna be at 16. I mean, we're really not that far away from burning them out. Like, this deck can pour on the damage. Opponent takes the Disintegration as predicted. Windswept Heath cracks at 15. So we have 3, 6, 10, 11, 12. Maybe slightly less because we're probably gonna have to kill Stoneforge. Opponent gets the Batterskull. Gets and hits us. Play the Mountain. Vampire's Kiss. Down to 13. How much damage do we have? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think we gotta kill the Stoneforge. A little bit painful, but I think it's necessary. Get in, hit ya, down to 12. We'd be like a top deck away from maybe just racing the Batterskull, but it's pretty risky to let it live. Tireless Tracker, sure, that's a bit slow for our purposes. Temple Garden, tapped. Opponent hits us, down to 18. Well, play Dragon Skull Summit, get Luris. Lava Spike you. Don't really want this to flip past the turn. Yeah, it's gonna be really close. Really close. The Batterskull is a big concern about it. Okay, that's really good news. One more turn without Batterskull might be enough for us to steal this about it. Because we can block with the Epicure and then lure us and get it back. Thalia, okay. Opponent goes attacking, well, we will block. Thalia actually kind of hurts our opponent, I think. So, well, 1, 2, 3, Luris. Play the land, recast Epicure. Ping you down to 8 past the turn. So this means no Batterskull this turn either, even if our opponent hits a land, Peatland, Clue. I mean, they could have other forms of life gain. About it. Combat. Attacks. I mean, we'll block the tracker. Drop to 12. Wow, sacks the Peatland, okay. A little bit desperate. I think we're gonna sack a blood token here and discard this statuette. Because we can always get it back with Luris if we really want to. And we'd like to just hit another Galvanic Blast or something and just win right now. So we'll discard statuette. Skewer. That should do it, right? Epicure. Pings you to 7. Wow, the extra damage from Galvanic Blast is gonna pay off again. Galvanic Blast you to 3, and then Skewer the Critics you to 0. Oh, Bloodburn. Okay. I mean, we can actually, the blood synergies are paying off. The blood synergies are paying off. It isn't just like a burn deck that's playing bad blood cards. It's actually like super synergistic. The extra damage out of Galvanic Blast and Shrapnel Blast and Voldaren Epicure's pinging, like all that stuff is adding up. The blood tokens are what's adding up to that win. So sweet. Budget Magic time. We are blood burning in Modern and up against a Lurrus deck. I don't think we can not keep this. It doesn't have any of our blood token stuff outside of this bridge, but we do have a lot of points of burn. That's something. Springleaf Drum for our opponent. So it looks like hammer time. Yeah, let's play this on red and suspend Riftbolt. Go. So how do we win against Hammer Time? I guess shoot down creatures, but I feel like after sideboarding, this matchup's going to be interesting. When we get the Searing Blazes, Smash to Smithereens, Unlicensed Disintegrations, game 1, I guess we just try to burn them out. I think that's always the answer. Just try to burn them out and hope for the best. Opponent, oh god, Sigarda's 8, okay, very frightening. And more Springleaf Drums. Opponent passes. Gonna take a little Riftbolt to the face arena. Down to 16. Well, draws Forge Bridge. I think we're going to hold on to Riftbolt now. There's actually a world where we just want to hard cast it on something. Urza's Saga. That's a bit of an issue. Memnite and Pure Steel Paladin. Okay. I mean, opponent's down to 1 card, so that's good. If we try to bolt the Pure Steel and they flash in equipment in response, that's pretty bad. Okay, untap. Lightning Bolt, land on red. Suspend a Riftbolt. So we have 15 points of damage currently. I mean, I guess we cast a Lava Spike. Spike you. Pass the turn. Cranial Plating. We're going to let that go. It does let our opponent draw a card, which is not great. However, it doesn't kill us and it doesn't gain our opponent life. I mean, I think we're trying to win here, essentially. We're hoping that our opponent taps a Silent Clearing, or that we draw 1 more burn spell and we just win next turn before Urza's Saga can get hammers or Shadow Spheres. So we're gonna take the beads. Opponent can Pure Steel away. So yeah, basically we need... Oh, okay. Opponent cracks some Marsh Flats. Okay, that's what we wanted to see. That means unless our opponent can gain life here or kill us. Ingenious Smith, okay. I mean, we got 12 points of damage. No Shadow Sphere. You didn't even get the hammer. I think the hammer's okay. Is that a whiff? Oh, we got there. Okay. We got there. Oh, wow. Okay, that's good news. Now we get at least 2 games with our sideboard, which I feel like our sideboard's insane against our opponent's deck. Opponent's gonna pump. Well, we will bolt your face down to 8. Riftbolt suspended. So we got 9 points. We don't even need to draw anything. Riftbolt comes down, hits the face. Well, not the bloodiest. Ooh, that's fun. Lightning Bolt your face. Maybe we don't even show the spice. We don't need to even show the Shrapnel Blast. Okay, we got there. We got there. Disintegration's in. Searing Blazes in. Smash to Smithereens in. Pyrite Spellbomb's in. Go down. Bump in the Night. Go down. Lava Spikes. I mean, we're going to go pretty much all in on stuff that can kill creatures, I think. Other than some of our blood token stuff is going to stick around. Maybe go down 1 Statuette, 1 Riftbolt. So now, with this sideboard plan, we're not going to bring in the Vortexes. There could be an argument for them. So now with this sideboard plan, the idea is we have a ton of cards that kill our opponent's stuff. Disintegration, Searing Blaze, Smash to Smithereens, and Lava Spike. So we're not as efficient as before, but we get a ton of, like, essentially 2-for-1s, because we're getting the damage that we really care about, and we're hopefully dealing with a threat. Well, this will keep. Double Smash to Smithereens is nice. Gonna have a bunch of blood tokens. Don't have a ton that just kills creatures straight up, but killing the artifacts is pretty important. Big question is gonna be, what do we do with Riftbolt? Do we suspend the Riftbolt? Do we hold on to the Riftbolt? Might depend on if we draw land. Opponent, Plains, Esper, Sentinel. Shrapnel Blast. We'll play the land, suspend the Riftbolt, pass the turn. Opponent gets and hits us. And Concealed Courtyard. And Ingenious Smith gets a Memnite. And plays a Memnite and gets a counter. Well, Riftbolt the Smith. I think our opponent's going to get to draw a card here, unfortunately. Riftbolt the Smith. Opponent draws a card. Pathway on black. Smashing the Sentinel past the turn. Well, that's 3 points of damage we had to throw to creature, but I think it's worth it. We definitely got to get rid of the Esper Sentinel. We can't just let our opponent draw an extra card each turn. That's going to end poorly. And then the Smith is going to grow outside of burn spell range pretty quick. I mean, we're still not in bad shape. 5, 8, 10. We currently have 10 points of burn. Maybe we can get in some damage with the Statuette. Gonna be close. Oh boy, Urza Saga. Yeah, that's a good one. Pure Steel Paladin. Also a good one. Springleaf Drum. Turning on the Paladin. And Colossus Hammer. Okay. Well, that's not ideal. I would say not ideal at all. Well, land on red. Smash the hammer. Bolt the Pure Steel. Oh, that's 6 points of damage we had to throw at opponent's creatures. Not ideal. And we're down to 8. Also not great. Opponent's still at 14. Definitely not great. Yeah, opponent might be getting there this time. We're pretty light on damage to deal 14. We got 7. That's halfway there, I guess. If we had if we could have spent those bolts on our opponent's face, our opponent would be almost dead. But I mean, if we did spend the bolts on our opponent's face, we would be literally dead. 2 Colossus Hammers and Esper Sentinels and Ingenious Smiths. I don't know, maybe we were too aggressive on the Esper Sentinel, but like letting our opponent draw a card every turn is just so brutal. And paying 1 when we cast a burn spell is also not really possible. Urza Saga. Even just 1 hammer hits a lot of damage. Cranial Plating. Opponent leaves up their mana. I guess they want to make an Urza Saga token. Yeah, now we're literally dead. All right. Yeah. Urza Saga. Strong Magic the Gathering card. Getting hit by a hammer, not good. Well, run it back. We're not changing anything. This is a setup. Good news is we're on the play for game 3. Yeah, that was an interesting hand. I guess the bad news is we had 2 Smash to Smithereens and still lost. It's like one of our best sideboard cards. All right, we get to play first. Hopefully this is helpful. Come on, good hand. Good hand. Give us some blood and some burn. Opponent. Look it over there, opening 7. You know what? We're going to keep this. I think it's fine. Not insane. No way to make blood tokens awkwardly, but it's not bad. Pathway on red. Opponent kept 7. Yeah, let's suspend the Rift Bolt past the turn. Opponent planes and Sigardizade and Memnite. Well, Rift Bolt your face. Wouldn't mind drawing another land. Ooh, Statuette. Land and yeah, we got to play the Spellbomb, I think, past the turn. Spellbomb's not bad. Like if our opponent just runs out a hammer, we can kill the Memnite. The bad news is it does require leaving up mana. Opponent goes to combat. Hits us for 1. Sure. Down to 19. Silent Clearing. Esper Sentinel. All right, untap. Red mana, please. All right, red source is nice. So play the mountain past the turn. I really don't want to let our opponent draw a card. Although I would like to get down the Statuette. Yeah, we just gotta pass for now. Pass the turn. Well, now we wouldn't mind a black source to eventually get Lurrus going. Lurrus is normally not very good with in our deck. It's fine. But it is pretty good with Pyrite Spellbomb. Opponent Adepts. We gotta be careful. There's this weird standoff going on where if we crack the Spellbomb to try to kill something, and then our opponent hammers in response, then we're stuck having to spend another removal spell on that something, which is awkward. But we also can't just do nothing forever about it. Plays the Ingenious Smith. Okay. Well, let's see what they find. Nothing. Ornithopter. Triggers the Smith. Okay. Well, let's kill the Esper Sentinel and bolt the Smith. Untap. Play the land. We would love to get the Lurrus going. Problem is it does leave us open to getting hammered. And License Disintegration is just so much mana to leave up. I mean, if we get hammered, we don't lose, but it would hurt. I think we gotta go for it. I mean, if they have double hammer, then we lose. All right, get the Lurrus past the turn. All right, hold. No hammer for this turn, please. Opponent, do you have a hammer? Gets in with the Memnite. Okay, Shadow Sphere. Well, that's not a hammer at least. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We did not get hammered. We will accept that. Opponent passes. How greedy are we? We're down to 15. Didn't have the hammer last turn. We don't have an artifact currently, which is awkward. Yeah, I mean, I think we play Lurrus. We're living on the edge here. Play the Pyrite Spellbomb as a turn. Whoa! They had the hammer and they didn't cast it? Oh, so now our opponent wins. All right, that's unfortunate. Wow. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. That is kind of insane. Opponent slow rolled the hammer. I've never seen such a thing. Well, now we're not literally dead, but I do not know how we deal 33. Opponent passes. Well, play a mountain. Play the statuette. What a hand for our opponent. And now I think we literally are dead. Yeah, I guess that was a punt because they can move over the plating. Well, I mean, it wasn't really going to matter anyway. Yeah, we're going to scoop it up. So there was a punt there at the end. There was a punt there at the end if you want to yell at me. So what we had to do here to have any chance to live for a turn would have been to not play anything, Disintegration the Memnite, and then Pyrite Spellbomb the Ornithopter. Why didn't they play that hammer? They got us. They got us. I would have played much differently had I thought that our opponent had the hammer and decided not to cast it. That was absolutely wild. Well, they got us. That was the craziest line I've seen someone take in a long time. Apparently just had the hammer in hand. We were completely tapped out, right? Like our opponent just had the free hammer hit and our opponent declined to get in the 15-15 lifelinking attack. Yeah, fair enough. So yeah, that was a punt at the end. At the end, to survive this turn, what we need to do is Pyrite Spellbomb and Unlicensed Disintegration. The problem is, then we're down to 2 cards in hand. Our opponent's got Lurrus, they got the Sigarda's Aid. We're at 3, they're at 33. We're a burn deck. Our Lurrus is already gone, so there's no realistic pathway towards us winning this game in the long run anyway, even though that was a punt at the end. Well, interesting. Budget Magic time. We are blood burning in Modern this week, and all right, we'll keep what's going to the bottom. I guess Bump in the Night. So we have 1, 2, 3 artifacts. We have 10 points of burn. Well, land on red, Epicure. These 2 Shrapnel Blasts might do some work. Hopefully, we'll see. Opponent is Yarion, so who knows? Could be pretty much anything. While we don't want a bunch of lands, our best draw might just be an untapped land. Opponent, Windswept Heath, and passes. All right, another statuette. I'll go to combat, hit ya. Down to 18. Well, so our current target is 10. We need to get our opponent down to 10, and then we can Shrapnel Blast for the rest. Triume. Tap a 1-lander. Risky. Discards a Spreading Seas. Well, boy, you got these statuettes for days. Statuette. Blood token. Go to this might actually be the bloodiest kill. These statuettes, we got 3 of them. Like, our opponent, why did they keep this hand? What is it with Yarion players keeping 1-landers? You got a deck full of busted cards. Do you really need to keep a 1-lander? Well, I guess Evoking Solitude better than discarding hand size a little bit. About it. Passes. Well, Statuette. Blood tokens for days. Opponent untaps. Land number 2. I mean, they gotta have a hand that goes off if they gotta have a hand that goes off with the second land. They have to. Why else would you keep the 1-lander? Olive Mountain. Spreading Seas, one of our lands. Sure. We draw a land on red. Wait, can we win here? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not quite. All right, so we're going to Statuette, make a blood token, sack a blood token, discard Vampire's Kiss. Well, we weren't really planning on winning with Statuette beatdown, but I mean, we will not complain. Statuette Tron, take that Yarions, and well, now these double Shrapnel Blasts should be able to finish the game. Opponent, how do you beat Statuettes for days? Not with an expressive iteration. So our opponent obviously had a little bit of trouble with their mana, although 1 land, 1 keep. It works for us, you know, like 30% of the time, so can't really blame opponents for trying it. Unlicensed Disintegrations in. Go down Rift Bolts. Go up. Let's try 2 Roiling Vortexes. Rolling Vortexes. Roiling? Rolling? Roiling. Could be either. Who knows? Who knows with words and letters? Who knows what they really mean? All right, so the problem with Rift Bolt in this matchup is Teferi mostly. Suspending it and then having your opponent play a Teferi is really painful. Well, that was kind of cool because honestly, I was not expecting to get that kind of win with this deck. Statuette, it's kind of like, oh, hopefully it chips in a little bit. It adds 2 artifacts to the battlefield, so it gets us 66% or 67% to turning on our Galvanic Blast by itself. And if it gets an attack or 2, that's a bonus. But I guess it's possible to just draw 3 of them and straight up win with them. Well, let's do that one more time. I'll reveal Loris. I think Loris is, even though it doesn't do much in this deck, I think it is worth it. Ew. This one swamp comes back to haunt us. Gonna have to mulligan. Honestly, if it was one mountain, I don't think we'd keep this hand either. We got all of our stuff that cares about artifacts and no way to make them. I really love the blood tokens in budget burn. Non-budget burn, I don't know if it's as necessary, but one of the things I like about them, like obviously it's turning on Shrapnel Blast, it's turning on Galvanic Blast, which is a really big deal. The other thing it does is one of the things that beats burn is flooding out. And we see like top tier burn decks playing the Horizon lands that you can sacrifice to draw a card. That's kind of your flood out protection. They're pretty expensive though, way too expensive for a budget deck. So blood tokens it essentially allows our budget deck to have that same sort of synergy where if we draw too many lands, we got a way to get rid of them and hopefully draw into those last, couple of burn spells to close out the game. So I actually think it's very, very synergistic and powerful in budget burn, especially. The opponent deciding on their opening hand, they're going to 6. Well, we will join our opponent going down to 6. Well, go roiling vortexes, I guess. We will keep. We will put a lava spike to the bottom. Well, the thing is, we can lava spike on 1. Are we really going to get 6 mana? Probably not. All right, let's put bump to the bottom. Like, technically, Bump is an upgraded Lava Spike, although to be an upgraded Lava Spike, you get to 6 mana, and with the way our hand works out, we can turn 1 Mountain Lava Spike, turn 2, start playing our Vortexes. We can't count on our opponent to keep the 1-lander every time. All right, Vampire's Kiss. Vampire's Kiss isn't bad. I mean, that is a way to get a couple of artifacts to turn on this Galvanic Blast. And at least Roiling Vortex can, if we leave with the mana, can stop Omnath from gaining life, which is a concern. So opponent cracks down to 16. And I mean, it also chips in for a bit of damage. Triumph. Opponent. Wow, untap Breeding Pool. We will take the free damage. That's actually really obnoxious with this Dragon Skull Summon in hand. Real land? All right, well, sort of. Ouch. Yeah, that was kind of brutal. That was kind of brutal. Opponent Windswept Teeth. Ren N6. Plays a snow-covered plane, gets back a land. About it. Passes. Well, 1, 2. Roiling Vortex. Dragon Skull Summit. Tap because of Spreading. Spreading Seas isn't even good against us, I don't think, but wow, it's good there. Opponent goes to 12. Opponent gets back a land, plays a land, cracks a land, down to 11. Abundant Growth. The bad news is we do need to leave up mana because of Omnath. We can't let Omnath gain life. Well, we get pinged. Oh, we would like this Vampire Kiss. What's the other option? So opponent's at 11. They're going to 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I mean, they probably do have a counter. Well, let's Lava Spike you and pass the turn. I spend Coatl, sure. Like, as long as our opponent's not gaining life, we don't care a whole lot what they do here. Opponent untaps, goes to 7. So if they play Omnath, we can prevent the life gain. If they don't play Omnath, we can just bolt our opponent's face and maybe win next turn. Prismatic Ending. Gets back the land. All right, no life gain. No life gain, we should hopefully have it. Reflecting Pool. No attacks. Well, we will bolt your face. Lightning Helix for our opponent. Okay. Down to 7. Play the Mountain. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not lethal. So in that case, we're going to play Roiling Vortex. Pass the turn. Opponent goes to 6. Can we resolve this Vampire's Kiss and Galvanic Blast? That is the question. We're set up for lethal next turn if our stuff resolves. Just really worried about Omnath. Omnath is gaining 4 life is going to be hard for us to beat. Opponent gets back the land. Passes. We draw a burn spell, please. We get pinged. Mountain. Vampires Kiss you. Okay, opponent's down to 4. We will pass the turn. Do we want to play this land? I think yes. All right, play the land, pass the turn. Holding it lets us sack it to a blood token. Casting it lets us activate Roiling Vortex more often. Solitude. Galvanic Blast you? No force? Oh, no force. Okay, we got him. Blood tokens coming through. I was trying to figure out, okay, they could have force and negation. Is it better to Roiling Vortex, fizzle life gain, untap, and then upkeep, throw the burn spell at our opponent's face? Sure, they're untapped, but they can't cast force and negation for free. But obviously, if we let them untap, then they have the mana to just hard cast it. So yeah, well, we got there. Sweet. Blood burn actually seems oddly effective. Budget magic time. We are playing some blood token burn in modern, and this hand's interesting. Well, hopefully we make some blood tokens. Technically, when fully turned on, this is 18 points of damage for a total of 6 mana. These 2 artifact lands are really helping with this hand. So we need to find a way to make 1 more artifact. Then we need to resolve the Galvanic Blast first. And then we need to Shrapnel Blast. Otherwise, we find something to make blood tokens. And that makes everything much easier. If we find a way to make blood tokens, then we don't have to sack our lands. And then our Galvanic Blast gets turned on. Basically, we need 1 more artifact. We need 1 more artifact, and this hand is kind of insane. And even though it's only 18 points of damage, we're playing Modern, so reasonably high chance that our opponent will deal 2 damage to themselves. Well, tap land. Go. What are you up to, opponent? Urza's Saga. Okay. Passes. Well, tap land. Go. Opponent. Taking up the Saga. Turn 1 Saga is a little awkward. Means you're not going to get to make a construct out of it. But I mean, if you're just trying to find a hammer or an amulet or something, I guess it's fine. Amulet. Oh boy. Life gain. Awkward. This could be bad. I'll play a land. I guess we get Luris. Pass the turn. Yeah, this might be a bad time. Opponent. Gonna have 2 amulets. And we're still an artifact short from turning our stuff on, and our opponent's gaining life. Yeah, amulet number 2. Is this Bounce Land Primeval Titan? Is this just the amulet dream? Yeah, I mean, if this is Primeval Titan, we're just... we're dead. This is a good example. Yesterday I had an article about the modern ban list. This is a good example why I really think we need to reevaluate the modern ban list. The idea that things like Birthing Pod are just like too good for the format is kind of just absolutely hilarious to me. So our opponent is not playing Primeval Titan. Like when you're facing down Primeval Titans on turn 3, is something like Birthing Pod or Splinter Twin actually really a problem? Is that, what's Splinter Twin gonna do? What's it gonna do? Like, oh, sure, maybe on turn 4, you can try to maybe combo, even though every deck has removal to stop your combo. When your opponent's just like, oh, guess what? Hasty Primeval Titan on turn 3. So I really, truly believe that there's a decent chunk of cards that we should at least try on banning. But check out the article. It gives us something to talk about as our opponent turn 3 combo kills here. Modern is not really a turn 4 format anymore. It's a turn 2 smack you with a Colossus Hammer, a turn 3 hasty Primeval Titan format. So the sacred cows of 5-10 years ago, Birthing Pods and Splinter Twins, that were arguably not even too good back during their era when people were playing Putrefy as their removal spell and just like absolutely playing decks that couldn't beat most standard decks these days. Like cards that were too good for that era, you gotta reevaluate them. So check out the article, and I really hope we get some unbannings in Modern. If the format's gonna be this high of a power level, you gotta at least throw in the cool old cards that people kind of love. Like it makes losing to turn 3 Primeval Titan a little bit more palatable, or getting snowballed by Ragavan, or not being able to interact with the Urza Saga. At least as those horrible things are happening to you, you can be playing your Birthing Pod, or like holding onto a Splinter Twin as you die, like the good old days. All right, we're just going to concede. Like there's no way we're beating any of this. Opponent apparently has multiple Primeval Titans on turn 3. Do not unban Summer Bloom, though. Honestly, one of my, again, read the article. One of the things I was thinking is I would like to see Green Sun Zenith unbanned, but I don't think you can unban Green Sun Zenith with these Primeval Titan decks around. So I actually think there's a pretty interesting argument to unbanning Green Sun Zenith. It'll likely be broken with Primeval Titan, but be a positive in other ways, where maybe you can have these cool creature toolbox decks, and then we can have a conversation about maybe it's Primeval Titan that should be living on the modern ban list. I think there's at least a conversation that we could be having there. All right, so we're gonna go down 2 Bump in the Nights, go up 2 Unlicensed Disintegrations, and I guess run it back. We could try to bring in Smash for Amulet, but I think we just have to. Okay, Zero Lander. Got him. We got him. Good luck beating this Primeval Titan. This is a 10 points of damage. Whatever will you do? Well, we're gonna put a mountain to the bottom. Opponent keeping 7, which I assume means we're probably dead. Voldaren Epicure. Opponent down to 19. Blood token achieved. Opponent untaps. Forest. Arboreal Grazer. That's and the Saga. Sure. I mean, I really do think that a pretty high percentage of the cards that are currently on the not a pretty high. That's saying that incorrectly. Both the phase down to 16. But there are probably at least 10, maybe 15 cards I would say on the modern ban list that are worth reevaluating in the context of a format that is dominated by cards from the last 2 years. Like a lot of stuff that looked busted in 2015, I don't think it looks busted in a format where you got Ragavan and Urza Saga and the Cascade decks, into Fairy Time Ravelers and all the stuff that's going on these days. Like it just doesn't look scary anymore. So I hope we have an actual conversation about the ban list and if we should be unbanning cards, at least trying to unban some cards. And I hope people think about it rationally and don't just think, oh, well, in 2015, Birthing Pod might have been too good or whatever. In 2013, someone killed me with Infect when they, pitched a Progenitus to their Blazing Shoal. I'm like, come on now. Now they kill you with Infect by just casting a good card like Scale Up and you're still dying on turn 2 and they don't have to play Progenitus and Dragonstorm in their deck. So hopefully people actually evaluate the ban list in the context of what's going on in current Modern and not out of some PTSD about losing to a card from a decade ago, back when people were playing Putrefy as a removal spell and Consecrated Sphinx was the blue-white control finisher, etc., etc. So play a land on red. Bump in the Night U. Yeah, there's just no way we can quite get enough damage here. Skewer to 10. So we got 5 points with Shrapnel Blast, but our opponent, what happened last game is about to happen again. Opponent's gonna have infinite sagas here. This Grazer actually did a bit of work for our opponent. They say, 2 points of damage? And those 2 points of damage could actually be relevant. Like those 2 points of damage, if our opponent was at 8, because we got in these Epicure attacks, Shrapnel Blast is 5. Like a bolt off the top would just be lethal. So Abriel Grazer just as a blocker, doing some things for our opponent. Making mana, sacking sagas, getting more amulets. So we need likely 2 more draws. Karn the Great Creator. That also shuts down our land, gets a Worm Coil Engine. Well, we need a really good top deck. Dragon Skull Summit, not quite it. Now play Dragon Skull Summit, pass the turn. All right, well, Shrapnel Blast off the top, please, and we have some small chance. Opponent, gonna float the mana, amulet number 30. So what we need to do is basically sack the blood token to Shrapnel Blast and then knock the top of our deck. Oh dear. All right, well, there's a bounce land. So the question is it just Worm Coil? If it's just Worm Coil, we at least have one top deck to hit a Shrapnel Blast to steal the win. If it is Primeval Titan, then we do not get that one chance. Because our opponent has essentially infinite mana with 3 amulets. Like, if they can Primeval Titan, they're going to be able to play a hasty Worm Coil this turn. And then we have no chance. And they still have the Karn. We have played for 1 minute and 58 seconds this game. Our opponent has played for 10 minutes and 23 seconds. I feel like our opponent's done more things. Opponent, thinking about their last trigger, picks up the bounce land. If you got the Titan, just show us. Just show us. Dryad of the Hills. Okay, opponent's not giving up yet. They're going to do it again. Extra land drop. Bounce. I mean, we can't scoop because there is like a 2% chance if they don't have Worm Coil that we win the game. So we can't scoop because there is some teeny tiny shot. Opponent. Card. Sideboard. What do you get this time? Liquid Metal Coating. Sure. Different bounce land this time. Going to tap and untap. Well, maybe our opponent just times out tapping and untapping their lands. Floats some mana, untaps the mana. You're gonna float mana? Floats some mana. Untaps, floats some mana. Picks up the bounce land. Please pick up the bounce land. I'm sure our opponent's having the time of their life over there. All these 17-minute turns of tapping and untapping lands. Oh god, opponent. Just play your cards. Play your cards. We know you got 5. We know 2 of them are Worm Coil and Liquid Metal Coating. Just let us draw 1 more card to see if it's a Shrapnel Blast. That's all we want, opponent. We just want to draw 1 more card. That is it. That is all. If they actually play a Primeval Titan after all this and their turn continues for another 10 minutes, oh my god. Opponent, please. Either kill us or let us draw 1 more. Oh my god. All right. Well, cycles Teleria West. Bad news for our opponent is I'm not sure they actually have the green mana. Okay, so they can play a Primeval Titan. Oh my god. You know, I think I'm gonna concede now. I just don't have the patience for this. We can concede, and then we can draw our card for the turn. Actually, like, the Primeval Titan could get life gain anyway. Like, I don't think any of this. All right, this is enough. This is enough. I've sat here long enough. I can't take it. Yell at me if you want, chat. I cannot take it. I can't take it. We're gonna draw our card for the turn. It would have been a lava spike. It wouldn't have mattered. And okay, dead. God. All right. Well, yeah, Primeval Titan, quite the magic card. So what do we learn about Bloody Bird in Modern? And overall, the deck felt pretty good. We went 3-2, which for an $85 deck in a $1,500 deck format, perfectly fine record. Sure, we got janked out by Primetime on turn 3 one game. We got janked out by Colossus Hammer, but that's stuff that happens in Modern on occasion. So the deck definitely felt competitive enough, and I think the Blood Token plan was actually really, really good. I know it looks a little bit weird at first glance, but for budget burn decks in specific, I think the Blood Token plan is really, really strong because it gives you some of the stuff that the non-budget decks have access to, that filtering power to not flood out, a little bit more damage that maybe a non-budget deck is getting from Horizon Lands. A non-budget deck might be getting that little extra damage from Eidolon of the Great Revel. Well, we're getting our version of that with this weird Blood Token plan. So I'm not really hyped about playing like Sanguine Statuette or Voldaren Epicure in non-budget burn. If you're going to spend whatever, $800 or whatever it costs to build tier burn, I don't think you need these cards. But for a budget deck, I think the Blood Token plan was really good. We got to see the filtering power be relevant, digging through the deck, getting rid of extra lands, finding us our last burn spells, and we got to see the little bit extra damage from the Shrapnel Blast and the Galvanic Blast be really, really key. We got multiple like Xaxes wins, where if Galvanic Blast was another Lava Spike effect, we would have been just short on damage, but because we're getting that little extra boost of damage, thanks to our Blood Tokens, we were able to close out the game and pick up the win. So Bloody Bird, not the best deck for upgrading to non-budget build. If you're gonna try to build non-budget, just build like whatever, Boros Burn, whatever top tier version of Burn. But as a budget deck, I think this is a really sweet plan. The Blood Tokens definitely up the power a lot, and I would play the deck again. I feel like this might be one of the better versions of budget burn available to Modern. So anyway, that's been Bloody Bird. That's been our budget magic for this week. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.